Hello and welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life as a military wife. And y'all are pretty aware that I'm a book person. I love books, but I am mostly a fiction girly. I really just love fiction. And I do read a lot of nonfiction now, didn't always, but it is really rare that I find a nonfiction book that I pick up and I just can't put down, and that it is a page turner and I finish it in the matter of a few days. And I have found one of those books. Not only is it that book I want to talk to you about, but I just want to talk about some really great resources, book-wise, for military families in general. So join me for today's episode. As always, I'm your host, Sam Wolf, and you're listening to Life of a Military Wife. So what is this all about? Well, I found this really awesome book. It just popped up on my feed and it's military related. So I was like, sure, why not? And I got it from the library and it was fabulous. And so I'm going to talk to you about that. I'm going to talk to you about some other really just wonderful resources because it just got me thinking last week with talking about Over There for Kids is a resource that has meant a lot to our family, but also Beth Runkle, who was on the podcast not long ago when her book, Another Move God, launched, has had a lot of really amazing experiences with her book. And now that the book has come out, the unfortunate thing was when she was on the podcast, I hadn't read the book yet. But now that the book has come out, I have not only read it, I have bought it for people. It is a really great book, and I genuinely love it. It's a great resource for military spouses who are trying to adjust to military life. And it is kind of a workbook, more mentality, and she has a workbook that comes with it. And she's been able to present it with PWOC and be on a lot of different podcasts. And there's really a lot of great work she's being able to accomplish. And I'm so excited to see the success that Beth has been having with her book. So I would still really recommend you all go check out Another Move God by Beth Runkle. She is a Air Force spouse, and this is just a incredible book. It's really wonderful. I would recommend it to any new military spouse who is struggling with the complications that just come with military life of moving and travel and deployments and separations, and wants to build a better relationship with God as they encounter these challenges and overcome them. So it's a really great resource. I love it. I genuinely enjoy it. I've met a lot of incredible military spouses who are authors throughout the years. And honestly, this next book I want to talk about is one of those. I want to meet her. I have not met this one. I have not interviewed her. But like I said, this next book, the one we're mainly talking about today, it's called Be Safe, Love Mom. And it is written by Elaine Brye. I hope I'm saying that right. Elaine Brye. And she is an Army brat, an Air Force wife, and a military mom of pretty much every branch. She's got a kid in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines. So she's got a lot of experience with military life from a lot of different angles. And this book, Be Safe, Love Mom, I can only compare it to God's Smuggler. That is the only other book written by a member of the military community about their life experiences that just gripped me. I just love. And you guys know I've talked about God Smuggler before. I read that book almost every year because it is one of my pick-me-ups. It's one of my you can do this books. It's going to be okay. It's so encouraging and so motivational. And the first part when he is going through World War II and his own military service is heart-wrenching and very sad, but honest and very forthright about what military experience and life can be like. And I'm grateful for his honesty in that book. But what he does after the military, after he gets medically discharged, is incredible. And I find it really motivational. So, that said, the book we're actually talking about, though, is Be Safe, Love Mom. Now, she has literally gotta catch 'em all. She's got, like, every credit almost that you can think of because she's been a military kid, she's been an army brat, she's a military spouse, and she's a mom of 4. And they all are in the military, and including her daughter. And she just has these amazing takes on how to handle things and perspectives and being real and honest in this book in a way that I really appreciated and resonated with. Even though I am not a mom with kids in the military, it still resonated with me, especially when she discussed the separations that her and her husband have had and dealing with the experience of her dad serving in Vietnam and all of that. And because her dad was a career military officer throughout the Vietnam era. It wasn't like he was a draftee. And so they lived the military life. And she herself was actually in the military for a short period of time. Just her insights are absolutely incredible. But it talks about the mixture of those feelings we get by having a member of our family serve in the military, that you can be so proud of them and yet so scared and so hopeful and yet so just sad. And that's okay. Those emotional roller coasters are fine. And she just approaches it all with a lot of sincerity and realism, like I said, that I just really appreciated. And there were some moments, some little catchphrases and things that she shared that I really enjoyed. And so I'm going to share some of those concepts with you. Now, she says, that one thing that has stuck with her is do your duty, love your country, live with hope, and suck it up. And that is kind of the motto for their family and for her is that sometimes you got to suck it up. You got to embrace the suck. And that is so true. There's so much that you have to kind of embrace the suck with in military life. And that is a hard concept when you're just getting into it because you think that there should be solutions, there should be ways to fix things. Yeah, no, not really, not always. Sometimes the military is just kind of special and you just kind of have to deal with it. And, there's not always a happy solution to every issue. And the other thing that she says is, yeah, it's hard, but we've got this. And I really appreciate that mentality. Another phrase that she uses a lot is sempre Gumby and always flexible because, Gumby is that cartoon character. Maybe y'all don't remember this, but I remember watching Gumby as a kid. Gumby is this like plastic rubbery character that's super flexible and can move in every direction and stretchable. And that's kind of how we have to be emotionally and mentally in the military is just being willing to and able to adapt. And so always flexible is a very good motto in my opinion. It reminds me of the whole jello analogy that I've shared with you guys. Firm but flexible. And yeah, our plans and lives have to be jello, not cement or concrete in the military. And another one she talks about is how she worked with listserv. And listserv is something that they have for the military academies where parents can kind of get questions on different things. And she makes this joke about how the military will issue you everything you need and it doesn't issue mothers. So they don't need you for military service. And that is and isn't true and how everything just she went through because when her first son was accepted into the Naval Academy and he was dealing with his plebe summer and his plebe year, the war hadn't started. It was prior to September 11th. September 11th happened his first year in the Naval Academy and how that drastically changed how she viewed what his military experience and service was going to be and how she it changed what her family's trajectory. Her husband was a pilot because he had been a pilot in the Air Force, and he had retired and was a civilian pilot. And his company went bankrupt, so they lost their pension. He wasn't going to have a pension when he retired. And so he started working with the fledgling Afghan airline, teaching pilots flying in and out of Kabul to do commercial airline flights. And so he was in and out of Afghanistan and gone. And her kids all ended up in military academies and trainings. And she was home all by herself in a quiet house. And she's like, well, maybe I'll go visit my husband in Afghanistan. And her kids were not surprised at all because that's just totally a thing she would do. And so she went to Afghanistan to spend time with her husband and decided, you know what? I'm a school teacher. I can teach in Afghanistan. There's a school I can teach at. And if I'm there in Kabul, I can spend time with my husband too. And so when she moved to Afghanistan to teach, all of her kids were out of the academy and full-time active duty officers at that point. And her son sent out on social media when she arrived. He's like, both parents in Afghanistan, all four active duty children at home in America, just a normal American family, something to that extent. And I just thought that was really funny. It just showed their family's sense of humor and flexibility is that they just do those, just run with it. And she did. She taught for a year, 10 months, a whole school year, so 10 months in Afghanistan at the school. And it gave her an opportunity to get to know the country and culture where her children ended up being deployed multiple times and being able to see it from a civilian perspective and be less afraid. She was also a really great resource while she was there and after for other military parents who wanted to know what would be great things to send in care packages and what their kids needed to be prepared for their deployment and different things like that. And that goes into a huge part of her book, service. When we are struggling with military life, when we get stuck in the woes of why me, why now, why this, it's not fair. It's so easy to get stuck in those negative thought spirals. And she focuses on and covers so many different ways to reach outside of yourself and serve in your community, in your neighborhood, in your military family, and in one way or another. And all of these different times where they've had family emergencies and other military families have stepped up to help out their children, or they've had the blessing of being able to pay it forward and help someone else's military child out. And that is important. And that is something I have seen as a member of the military community that military families can step up and support each other in amazing and bless just in ways that are totally miraculous and a blessing to each other. And it is incredible to see that, to see the strength and community and camaraderie. It doesn't matter if I've never met you before. If you've just moved into my area and you're about to have a kid, I can bring you a meal. Like I can help you out. I can give you pointers on schools and playgrounds and summer programs. And that is just what we can and do a lot in the military community. And her talking about these things and Blue Star families and hiring our heroes and just a lot of different things. She talks about this organization of military spouses, Gold Star families too. Um, that these two spouses that put together to run to remember our fallen soldiers. And they've got little chapters of this group that go running like all over the country. And just ways to remember and serve and build and uplift each other. And I'm so grateful for those experiences that I've had as a military spouse. They have helped me feel less sad and lonely. They've helped me handle those separations and struggles that we've had. But this also, more than anything, this book gave me a lot of compassion for my mother in law because my mother in law is a fabulous, incredible woman. She is a very giving and serving person. And when I think about it, she has had 3 children, active duty military, as well as a daughter-in-law, active duty military, and she has been so supportive to all of us as best as she can. She's just an incredible woman, and it's really kinda gets wrapped up, and there's a funny moment. When my husband was in basic training, I was, expecting our 2nd. I found out right around when he left, and we had one child already. And he came home from his leave for the holidays in the middle of basic training with a hip injury. He was trying to recover from so that he could finish on time and not get recycled. And he was so embarrassed to be on those crutches, but I was not going to let him get off those crutches because I wanted his hip to heal and I wanted him to be fine because I wasn't going to let him be recycled and be separated for even longer and have him miss our baby's birth. And so, yeah, I was very determined he was going to be on these crutches. So his brother and sister-in-law, who were both active duty and had just gotten back from a deployment, and I all went over to his mom's hospital where she was working to surprise her that we were all in town. And we all walk in, and immediately she runs to her baby, my husband, and gives him a big hug and starts like, you know, gushing all, oh, what's wrong with your hip? What's going on? And his older brother is like, hey, what about your 2 kids that just got back from a deployment? And she's like, "Oh, you guys are fine." Because they were healthy, they looked fine and everything, but it was just, the whole sibling dynamics and stuff. But moms really do go through a lot. I can only imagine how rough that must be now, thinking about it from her perspective, to have one son and his wife deployed together and another son, away at basic with a wife who has got a little kid and a baby on the way. And how concerned and, like, just much how much love and support she showed us. And then when my mom passed away, just the support I got from the military community and I have had with the military community. There was a fabulous service missionary from my church who came to serve in the military congregation that we go to just after my mom passed away. And she has, in many ways, become an adoptive grandmother to my kids. And when I had surprise baby a couple years ago, she flew out to help me for an entire week with baby because she knew my mom wasn't going to be able to do that and she didn't want me to be alone. And that meant so much to me. And that's really the heart of this story. It's an amazing example of leadership and courage and resilience and faith and trust and admitting that sometimes being a military family sucks. And I can't phrase it any other way because that's really just what it is. It bites. It is horrible. It is miserable. But we don't do it for the bad days. We do it because we love this country and we love our military service member and we want to support them. And she said that she was shocked when people were like, why would you let your kid do that? She's like, I'm not letting my kid do anything. I'm supporting my kid will pursue their dream and their life mission. I want them to feel fulfilled. And if that's what makes my kid feel fulfilled, I'm going to pursue that. And so that's just, I really love this book. It was fabulous. Like I said, there are books I pick up that I think I'm going to review on this channel and I never get to because I genuinely just don't resonate with them. They don't click with me. They might be great for other people, but they're just not for me. But this book was fabulous. Again, not what I planned on talking about, but it was very much what I wanted to talk about because it just meant so much for me. I really appreciated her optimism and it lifted me up. It was like a hug. It was like a big hug in a book form. And as a, bibliophile, that's always something I appreciate. So I'm going to leave you with one last quote that she gives, and it's no military parent needs to be alone with his or her worries or fears. And the same thing goes with military spouses. Sometimes we feel like we're swimming underwater and we're drowning, but we can reach out and support each other and be supported also. There's so many great resources in this book that she talks about, and I really just wanted to share it with you. So again, the book is Be Safe, Love Mom by Elaine Brye, and Brye. Hope I'm saying that right. And I'm really just grateful for it. I am struggling. I have more interviews than I can do, so I'm having to reassess my interview schedule just because work-life balance is a thing. Um, I'm going to probably be limiting myself to one interview a week, but we are going to have a lot of veterans interviews and other interviews coming up in the near future. I've recorded the second set of panel episodes with Erica and Maria and an extra panelist member this next time around. So excited for you guys to all hear that. And 200 episodes is fast approaching. And for that 200 episode, I will be revealing a surprise, something new that I've been figuring out with Erica's help and some other people. And that's going to be something to look forward to. I'm just really excited. I really love this book. I love sharing these books that are written by these amazing members of the military community. So again, a total shout out to Beth Runkle and Elaine Brye for their books. Beth's book is Another Move God, and Elaine's book is Be Safe, Love Mom. And I recommend these books wholeheartedly to anyone in the military community who is looking for a pick-me-up. These are fabulous books and resources. I kind of wish they were issued to every military mom and spouse at MEPS because they are that good. All right. Well, like always, if you know of a veteran who wants to be interviewed, I am almost done with the process to get hooked up with the Library of Congress for their Veterans History Project and be a official interviewer of theirs. If they want to be on the podcast for their interview, great. If they just want an interview done to go into the Library of Congress or for their own personal use with their family, please let me know. I am more than willing to conduct those interviews. I love hearing from our veterans. If you are a military spouse or a military mom and you have an amazing story to share of some project, organization, group, or book you have written, please let me know. I want to get these resources out. I want to share what the amazing military community is doing so that we can help and uplift each other. And also, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's click it and stick it to the algorithm. The more that we do those things, it helps just get this information out to everyone so they can find these resources so that as a military community, we can stay connected. As always, let's be the good we want to see in the world. I'm your host, Sam Wolf, and you've been listening to Life of a Military Wife.